Hello and welcome to South Today. I'm Laura Trant. In tonight's programme, more investment in the hub of the South's economy. From your washing machine you use, the TV you watch, to the toys you buy. If it was imported from the Far East, then it probably arrived through Southampton docks. In fact, half of all new goods bought on the high street come via the city's container port. It's currently the second largest container terminal in the UK after Felixstowe. And today plans were announced to expand it even further. And do you think Southampton has the relevant links and infrastructure to cope?
That's a big problem.
But how important do you think this development is for the South, for the whole region?
Oh, it's terribly important.
Here we have two very different drinks, a hot chocolate from a well-known coffee chain and a can of fizzy drink. Both contain around the same amount of sugar. That's about 35 grams, which is the same as about 8 teaspoons of sugar. But the way the sugar tax will be applied means that this will go up by about 8 pence per can. This will stay the same. These days, it's a really useful tool to say to people, actually, I'm all right during attacks like this. This is something that was launched during the earthquake in Nepal earlier this year. In terms of how it works, Facebook targets people that it knows are in and around affected areas, so in this instance, Paris, and asks individuals to check in. So potentially it's very useful in terrorist incidents because that's when mobile phone networks can go down and get jammed. So as long as people are online, they can alert people to the fact that they are safe. The watchdog is worried complaints at Bournemouth have almost doubled. Well, earlier I asked David Heath from the Consumer Council for Water about his concerns about the Dorset water supplier.
Well, we've seen a very rapid increase last year in the number of complaints.
And what are those complaints?
Well, I think if you ask the company, I think they will largely say
Southampton would need to sell 215 higher value houses to raise nearly £34 million annually. Winchester's contribution would be selling 79 properties to make nearly £25 million. Well, joining me now is BBC technology correspondent Zoe Kleinman. Zoe, what's the chance here of people getting their websites back?
Well, it's actually quite difficult to permanently delete data.
So how can people who have websites better protect themselves?
It's a bit of a case of never better safe than sorry. You have to.
And what causes a low-wage, high-welfare economy, and how do we deal with that problem?
It's in part to do with the skills base.
Well, Laura, have we had any more news about the condition of this man?
We do know his condition hasn't changed since he arrived here at the hospital. 29-year-old William Pooley is the first British person to have Ebola. He's being treated behind me in the Royal Free Hospital here in Hampstead in North London. He was working as a volunteer nurse in Sierra Leone, where he was helping to care for people there.
Just take us through what they actually said.
Well, yes, the Pooley family have said in a statement, "We'd like to express our thanks to all involved in bringing our son back to the UK. They say we've been astounded by the speed and the way in which various international and UK government agencies have worked together to get Will home."
Laura, Trant's in Egham, I think.
Yes, Ben, that's right. Here in Egham, the road has literally turned into a river. That's because water is relentlessly seeping up from the oversaturated soil, so groundwater here is a real problem. That's, of course, combined with the pouring rain, making treacherous conditions. Kathleen has lived here since 1967. Kathleen, I know that you're very worried about your home, aren't you? Because water's inching its way up to the doorstep.
I'm very, very concerned and angry all this hasn't been done earlier with the drains.
Tweed creeping up behind you. Morning, Laura.
It's creeping up my leg as we speak, Bill. Yes, take a look here. This is the Japanese knotweed. It looks pretty innocent, doesn't it? But it's not. It's really destructive, as are these zebra mussels. They're really small, but when they all group together, they cause serious problems. They are...
The mood, Laura, must be pretty sombre today.
Yes, Bill, there is a real sense of sadness here at RAF Odium in Hampshire this morning, where 4 of the 5 British military personnel who died in Afghanistan were actually based. You can see behind me that floral tributes have started to be laid, flags are at half-mast, and tributes have been coming in. The family of a woman with mental health problems who died in a house fire say she was failed by local health services. 46-year-old Jane Ellith died at her flat in Sandhurst in Berkshire after lighting candles for an imaginary boyfriend. The family says mental health teams ignored their request for help. Families who've lost loved ones have been calling for Katrina Percy to be sacked for months. They're angry that she will be maintaining a job within the NHS and being paid up to £190,000 a year. They say that she hasn't taken enough personal responsibility for mistakes that have been made that ultimately have led to a loss of lives. We are back, of course, at 8 o'clock, and we'll have plenty more for you at 10:30 as well. But from us here, a very good night to you. Bye-bye.